Alright, let's talk about China. For decades, America has been strutting around like the world's most muscular rooster, crowing about freedom and democracy from its pickup truck-shaped throne. But recently, a new kid has been pumping iron in the global gym, and its name is China. And let me tell you, this isn't some fly-by-night, flash-in-the-pan situation. China is coming in hot with a rapidly growing economy, a military that's been hitting the protein shakes a little too hard, and enough technological advancements to make Elon Musk sweat through his turtleneck. So the question on everyone's mind is this just the natural order of things, with power changing hands like a half-eaten hot dog at a Nathan's hot dog eating contest? Or is China about to kick down the door to the global treehouse and tell America to scram? Because, let's be honest, America has been hogging the swing set for far too long. We're gonna break this down, folks. Let's talk about dependence, baby. Not the kind your friend's therapist is always going on about, but the kind that has America tied to China like a pair of those novelty handcuffs you buy on a whim in Vegas. See, America loves its cheap plastic crap, and China, well, China's basically the world's factory, churning out everything from fidget spinners to iPhones faster than you can say trade deficit. We're talking 80% of US electronics coming from China, 90% of US antibiotics, made in China. It's gotten to the point where if China sneezed, America would catch a cold, lose its job, and end up begging for cough syrup outside a Beijing pharmacy. And don't even get me started on the debt. China owns a cool $850 billion in US debt. That's like owing your bookie enough money to buy a small island, except instead of a tropical getaway, you get to keep living in America, but with a nagging feeling that the bill is eventually going to come due. And remember that little global hiccup a couple of years back, the COVID-19 pandemic? Yeah, that really threw a wrench into the whole globalization love fest. Suddenly, China's like that friend who borrows your favorite sweater and forgets to return it for like 2 years. They started limiting medical exports, leaving American hospitals scrambling for masks and ventilators like they were trying to find a Tickle Me Elmo on Christmas Eve. Now, imagine if China decides to pull an encore. What if they decide to hold on to those essential supplies a little longer next time? Or, just because they feel like it? Suddenly, that Made in China label on everything starts to feel less like a bargain and more like a ticking time bomb. It's enough to make you want to hoard toilet paper and hand sanitizer all over again. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the dragon in the South China Sea. For years, America has been flexing its military might like a bodybuilder at a gun show. But China's been hitting the gym too, and they're not just there for the free towels. They've been quietly building the largest navy in the world. You know what they say, if you want to make a statement, sail a few dozen warships into disputed waters. Subtle. And it's not just about the size of their boats, folks. China's been investing heavily in cutting-edge tech, like AI-powered cyber warfare. Imagine a digital army of bots that could cripple a country's infrastructure with a few keystrokes. It's like something out of a Terminator movie, except instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's a bunch of guys in Beijing sipping green tea and writing code. Then there's the whole Taiwan situation. China has been pretty clear about its intentions to reunify with Taiwan, even if it means bringing a tank to a tea party. And the US, well, they've promised to defend Taiwan, which is a bit like your friend getting into a shouting match with a grizzly bear and expecting you to jump in and help. Look, I'm not saying war is inevitable, but if history has taught us anything, it's that nothing good ever comes from a bunch of powerful countries waving their weapons around like they're trying to swat flies. It's a recipe for disaster, and the only thing worse than a world war is a world war fought with weapons powered by algorithms we don't understand. Chapter 3. China's Influence in U.S. Technology and Politics. The Trojan horse has downloaded TikTok. Let's talk about something near and dear to all of our hearts, our phones. Specifically, the apps we can't seem to live without, like that one where you can watch teenagers dance and grandmas make questionable life choices. You know the one. TikTok. It's the digital equivalent of comfort food, and we're all hooked. But here's the kicker. TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. Now, I'm not saying that every time you scroll through endless videos of cats being weird, the Chinese government is collecting your data and plotting world domination. But it's not exactly outside the realm of possibility. Think about it. China's been on a tear in the tech world, going head-to-head with the likes of Google, OpenAI, and Microsoft in areas like 5G and AI. They're investing billions, building their own tech giants, and playing the long game. And it's not just tech, folks. China's been quietly weaving its way into the fabric of American society. They've been buying up U.S. farmland, investing in businesses, and even influencing media. It's like that scene in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where the aliens slowly replace everyone you know with emotionless duplicates. Except instead of pods, it's money. Lots and lots of money. Look, I'm not saying we should all go full Luddite and throw our phones in the nearest lake, but maybe, just maybe, it's time we started paying a little more attention to who's controlling the technology that's become as essential to our lives as oxygen and caffeine. Because the line between convenience and control is getting thinner by the day, and the last thing we need is to wake up one morning and realize we've accidentally downloaded a dictatorship onto our phones. Chapter 4. China's Plan for Global Dominance, the World According to Beijing. Alright, let's talk about China's grand plan. Because let's be honest, they're not just playing checkers here, they're playing a five-dimensional game of chess while simultaneously mastering the art of competitive origami. China's playing the long game and they're playing it hard. How hard, you ask? Well, imagine you're at a casino, and you see someone casually drop $1 trillion on the roulette table. That's China, except instead of betting on red or black, they're betting on infrastructure, influence, and global dominance. We're talking about China's Belt and Road Initiative, a $1 trillion project that's basically building roads, bridges, and ports in over 60 countries. It's like a modern-day Silk Road, except instead of spices and silk, they're trading in debt, leverage, and a whole lot of political clout. Then there's the whole bromance blossoming between China and Russia. They're like the two kids in high school who everyone thought were too cool to hang out, but then suddenly, they're best friends, sharing secrets and plotting to take over the student council. It's enough to make NATO nervous, and frankly, it should make all of us a little uneasy. And don't even get me started on China's growing influence in Africa and Latin America. They're investing billions, forging alliances, and basically telling America, hey, remember all those countries you ignored for decades? Yeah, they're kind of into us now. It's a power shift of tectonic proportions, and the aftershocks are being felt all over the world. So is China trying to create a new world order? One where they call the shots and America's relegated to the role of grumpy neighbor shaking their fist at the sky? It's a question that keeps diplomats and world leaders up at night, and frankly, it should probably keep you up at night too, because the world is changing, and the question isn't whether America will remain a superpower, but whether any single country can truly dominate in a world that's becoming increasingly multipolar. Chapter 5. Can America fight back? The comeback kid or yesterday's news? So the question is, can America still win this thing? Can the aging champion dust off its boots, step back into the ring, and reclaim its title as the world's heavyweight champ? Well, it's not going to be easy. It's going to take more than just slapping a fresh coat of paint on the Statue of Liberty and hoping for the best. First things first, America needs to kick its addiction to cheap Chinese goods. That means bringing manufacturing back home, investing in American workers, and maybe, just maybe, being willing to pay a little more for a toaster that doesn't burst into flames the second you plug it in. Second, it's time to double down on innovation. We're talking about investing in the technologies of the future like AI, space exploration, and renewable energy. Because let's be honest, the country that controls the robots, the satellites, and the clean energy sources of tomorrow is going to be calling the shots in the decades to come. And finally, America needs to remember that it can't go it alone. It's time to start rebuilding those alliances, mending those fences, and reminding the world that America isn't just about bluster and military might. It's about democracy, freedom, and a commitment to a rules-based international order. But the clock is ticking, folks. China's not standing still, and neither is the rest of the world. The future is being written right now, and the question is, will America be holding the pen, or will it be relegated to a footnote in someone else's story? Outro, who will win? So, there you have it, folks. The U.S. and China locked in an epic battle for global supremacy. It's a clash of titans, a showdown for the ages, well, you get the picture. Is China a genuine threat to America's dominance, or is this just a case of the old guard feeling a little threatened by the new kid on the block? I want to hear your thoughts, so drop your comments below and let's have a civilized discussion, shall we? And while you're at it, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the wild world of geopolitics. Because the future is being written right now, and it's up to all of us to decide what that future will look like. Will it be a world of cooperation and shared prosperity, or will it be a world of conflict and division? The choice, as they say, is ours.